Hey, Steve Gamache here with a video and really kind of information and testimonial about the Chef Knives to Go finish sharpening service. So one of the things you can do is when you order a knife, you can add to your cart the Chef Knives to Go finish sharpening service. And what that means is you'll get an in-house hand sharpening job by one of the awesome sharpeners at Chef Knives to Go. And when you get the box, you'll know because you get a little card in the box. When you take the knife out of the box, you'll see a little card that talks about who sharpened it and what stones they used and finish technique they use on the knife. We'll look at that in a second. Before we do that, let's talk a little bit about why you might want to get a knife hand sharpened before it's sent to you. Out of the box, Japanese knives sometimes don't have the world's greatest edges. It's pretty common for some makers to just put a quickie edge on them that they leave for the owner of the knife to put a full sharpening job on to their liking. And some knife lines, like for instance Masakage, they've got one of the Japanese best sharpeners in Japan that hand sharpens them, so they've got great out-of-the-box edges. But some knives are kind of hit or miss. So if you are not sure, if you see some reviews and we say the knife out of the box was, the edge was okay, you may want to consider getting these hand sharpened. Two things that does for you. It gives you a reference point for just how sharp a knife can get, depending on the steel, of course, but it'll give you a great reference point. And when you get a good, clean, sharp edge without burrs and stuff, you'll also see what kind of edge retention you should expect on a knife. I myself, having sharpened a couple years, still have issues with not getting a super clean edge when I do it by hand versus, let's say, the Edge Pro on hand, sharpening. And so sometimes my edges don't last as long as they do if you get a good, crisp, clean edge. So this will give you those kind of reference points. And as well, some knives out of the box have a little bit of a reputation for chipping at the edge because of the way they're sharpened or finish off. When you get a good, clean, resharpened edge on them, you clear off some of that maybe fatigued steel, and you'll get something that has less chipping as well. So there's really three reasons. Potentially less chipping at the edge, a good reference point for sharpness, and a good reference point for edge retention with a given steel, depending on, of course, your techniques, etc., etc. But those are some reasons to do that. So when I pulled this Fugen 150 Petty, it's a white, I think it's white number 150 Petty out of the box. The rest of them had kind of so-so edges on them, but I got this one, and I was like, wow, that's a really nice edge on that. And then I saw this card, and so here's an example. The edge is just beautifully done on this. It's crisp. It's got a beautiful, sharp, pointy tip on it, and it's just consistently sized edge bevel, polished nicely with some tooth to it. So trust me, it's a quality edge on there. And so you get this card, and so the card will tell you who it's sharpened by. The two I've seen have been sharpened by Alton, and he's really done a nice job. And you can see the progression that was used, and this was taken up to a Snow White 8K, and it's a really nice edge on this knife. So on the back side, they got a cool picture of some Swarf, Chef Knives to Go logo. So that was a cool surprise. And then this one was hand finished as well. This Konosuke Laser Shirogami number 2 was sharpened as well out of the box, or I should say sharpened out of the box and put in as a finished sharpened knife. And this one's going on a pass around, so Mark wanted to put a nice edge on it before it went out to the pass around participants. But here's this spec sheet on that. So Alton, again, he sharpened it around 12 degrees, so it's got an aggressive edge on it. And you can see it's got quite the progression. He went shaft and glass 500, then 2K, then a 6K, and then all the way up to Snow White, and then a balsa strap with 1 micron diamond paste on it. So this has a very sharp edge. Again, I've said this on the actual video for this knife, but it's a good 7, 8. I'll give it an 8. I'd never give anything a 10, but it's a really, really nice, very sharp edge. It's crisp, it's clean, and it's actually got a fair amount of tooth to it. So sometimes when you get this level of polish, you lose a lot of tooth, but it's got some bite to it as well when I test it on my fingernail. So anyway, that's my testimonial for the quality of the edges out of the Chef Knives to Go stable from the sharpeners that he's got doing the job. So think about getting a knife finished sharpened by hand at Chef Knives to Go before they send it to you if you want a good reference point for sharpness, B, a reference point for edge retention, longevity, or C, what a good edge might do to minimize chipping out of the box as well. So there you have the Chef Knives to Go finished sharpening service.